In the initial weeks following Vader's injuries on Mustafar, his new suit and cybernetics resulted in tremendous pain and torment for the Sith Lord. Novels such as Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader describe in great detail all of the deficiencies of his first suit. From the poor-fitting boots, to the heavy cloak and chest plating barely allowing him to raise his arms over his head, to the poor hearing caused by the implants in his inner ears, to the continued rasp of his breathing, the suit represented solitary confinement and claustrophobia of the worst kind. Even worse, in these early days, Vader could barely maintain a kneeling posture without pain, let alone approximate the fighting abilities he was once capable of as Anakin Skywalker. Out of anger and frustration, Vader blamed the deficiencies of his first suit and cybernetics on the ineptitude of the medical droids that designed it. In fact, Vader even went so far as to question the existence of a conspiracy, one where Sidious actually wanted these defects to keep his apprentice weak. But Vader would ultimately come to understand the true reasons why his first suit after Mustafar was so terrible. In this video expose, we aren't going to look at the how, but the why behind Vader's first suit being so poorly designed after Mustafar. In doing so, we'll look at how these defects that plagued Vader were more the result of circumstances, rather than a conspiracy by Sidious to ensure that Vader was weak and presented no threat to him. Years removed from the events of Mustafar and the early frustrations, Vader would finally come to understand the true circumstances surrounding the creation and construction of his first suit. As outlined in the novel Death Star, Vader understood that his suit was a last-ditch effort to save a dying Anakin Skywalker. After being maimed and burned upon Mustafar, he was so badly injured that he wouldn't have survived for long even within a Bacta tank. His internal organs had been far too damaged, and thus, he needed to be kept alive through the implementation of cybernetics and external life support systems. There was only one problem. No such systems existed, and as Vader would come to understand, there was no time to tailor a state-of-the-art suit for him, or to build something that specifically matched his needs. Because Vader needed something immediately, the medical droids quickly developed features that were adapted and implemented from earlier, even out-of-date technology. Given that many of the droids were the ones who built Grievous's cybernetics, it isn't surprising that many of the features of the suit were adapted from Grievous's designs, despite being over a decade old. Thus, the hasty way in which the suit was developed, where time was of the essence to get the dying Sith Lord into anything with the life support systems he desperately needed, Vader recognized that the initial design of the suit could be blamed upon circumstance. The awful design of the first suit wasn't a conspiracy by Sidious to keep him weak, but spoke of the hasty attempt to do anything to save Darth Vader. This conclusion by Vader in the years after Mustafar is perfectly in line with how Sidious remembered the events behind the rescue of his apprentice. Even Sidious had to admit that he had not foreseen Vader's defeat to Obi-Wan, or the injuries that would result. In fact, the Dark Lord wasn't even certain Vader would survive the return trip to Coruscant, necessitating him to use all of his powers to ensure Vader lived, and causing him to at least momentarily consider what he would do if Vader died. This is to say that Sidious, in failing to foresee the injuries Vader would sustain, had no suit prepared for him. It wasn't a matter of implementing a suit for his apprentice to keep him vulnerable, but quite the opposite. Sidious left the medical droids to restore Vader in whatever way possible. And just as Vader had concluded, the designs of the suit spoke of the way in which the droids did whatever they could to save him. So there we have it, how Vader came to see the true reason for why the first design of his suit was so awful. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter, @SWReadingClub, for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon, for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... for last-ditch efforts.